What is going on, NFC West fans? I know we got not just Rams fans here. We got a whole bunch of Cardinals fans in the chat. Speaking of the Cardinals, we have the AZ Sports fan joining us, of course. And then those Seattle Seahawks are represented by Steezy A. Smith. And as per usual as well, we got CG Ruthless Sports representing those San Francisco 49ers. We're back with another NFC West Roundtable. The NFC West is sitting at a good 7-1 right now. Unfortunately, the Seahawks kind of ruined our streak. The LA Rams got a big win at the Indianapolis Colts. The Arizona Cardinals got 100% lucky in against the Minnesota Vikings to steal a win. And then the 49ers, they did play yet another trash team in a single score win for them. So they're still doing it, but is it, and then of course the the Seattle Seahawks it took overtime to knock out an NFC West team. So I mean, that's still I think a pretty big positive. So first of all, how you guys doing, man? AZ Sports fan, how you doing, dude?
I'm great, man. I love the intro. Oh my goodness, good stuff. I agree. 49ers, man, you had an easy way going being 2-0. Next week, you'll really put it to the test. I'm excited to hear what Steezy has to say about the Seahawks loss. But man, yes, I agree. We got lucky, no worries, but a win's a win.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about it. Speaking of Steezy, how you doing?
Man, I'm feeling good, feeling wonderful. I'm back in the studio. Just got done with that bout with COVID. I'm just kind of real excited to get back into the swing of things, and I'm real excited for today. I mean, whew.
Yeah, it's good to see you feeling good, man. I love it. And CG, how you doing, dude?
Feeling great, man. We made some improvements against the Eagles. We gave up 11 points. That's a positive note right there.
That is a positive. Only 11 points given up by the San Francisco 49ers. But again, two trash teams in a row. San Francisco sitting at 2-0, so that's good news for them. But let's pump the brakes just a touch, though, man, because I'm not 100% sold quite yet. I came in pretty confident on the 49ers, but with these two games that they've had to start their season, I think I might be pulling back just a little bit. But you know what? We're going to talk about the week 2 games that we did have. NFC West goes 3-1 this week. We'll go ahead and start with the 49ers, though. In that game against the Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts looking pretty good again. In fairness, he did have 2 good games so far this year. But I want to see, what can you improve on? What can your squad improve on? And also, what did they do really well that you want to see them keep doing? We'll start with you, CG, on those Niners.
Okay, defensively, we improved on giving up the least yards. We gave up 190 yards passing. That was an improvement. The first half was a little bit sloppy, but we made some adjustments, and I like what DeMeco Ryans is doing. What we need to establish more is a great running game. If we can do that, do those quarterback sneaks, which Jimmy G is doing pretty well at, I think we've got to start building up that playbook a little more. That's what I want to see against the Packers. I want to see us open more of that playbook a little bit. So personally, it's in the right direction. We're playing Green Bay on a Sunday Night Football, and a home opener at Levi Stadium can't be much happier than it is, bro. 2-0, doesn't matter who we play against. It's all about building your confidence, build confidence.
Hey, I feel it, man. So you said the defense doing a good job. Is there anything specific on that defensive side that you just really liked what they were doing?
Just the fact they were doing their job in coverage a little bit. I wasn't expecting much out of them. I thought they were going to give up a lot of plays, but they only gave up maybe a couple decent big plays, But I like to see more of our defense do good in coverage, but most of all contain a mobile quarterback, because we let Jalen Hurts run a little while, so that's the only problem. When we play the likes of Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson, it's going to be hard to contain them. We have to learn to stop those running quarterbacks from scrambling. Quit blitzing, please.
Yeah, there it is. So, we're definitely some mobile quarterbacks in this division, and once Lance takes over there, the Rams will be the only one without one. Let's go over to those Seattle Seahawks with Russell Wilson, though. What is good? What is the good thing that they were doing out there, and then where do they need to get better, Steezy?
Man, good. Honestly, I don't have too much to say on that front. First half, I guess Seattle dominated at the point of attack. They dominated in the trenches. Derrick Henry had 30 yards rushing on 10+ totes. So he was averaging well under 4 yards a carry. Pretty much held Tennessee's offense in check. I think it was 24-9 at halftime. And so we did a great job of keeping Tennessee's offense in check, which Arizona did a magnificent job of doing in week 1. But then, obviously, as we all know, in the second half, it was a tale of two different stories. I mean, my goodness, did Tennessee's offense, namely Derrick Henry, just completely go off. 3 touchdowns, 147 yards rushing in the second half, including overtime. So there isn't too much good to touch on just because of the results. But I guess I could take solace in the fact that the Seahawks were able to establish such an early lead, or such a good lead, a big lead over a good team like the Titans. Before the season, I had this game pegged as a loss, and then after week 1, I was like, no, Tennessee's not looking so hot, so I think Seattle's going to come out on top. And so I don't know. Actually, I'm kind of glad we lost. I'm glad that Seattle's making these mistakes now. I'm glad that Seattle is going to, mess up now, just so later on in the season, they can learn from it, they can bounce back from it, and hopefully it won't happen again.
Yeah, it's definitely a crazy second half from Derrick Henry. You cannot sleep on Henry ever, man. That's a big one there. But all right, we'll go to the Arizona Cardinals. What was good, and what can they keep going with?
Yeah, buddy, cool. So yes, we beat the Vikings 34-33 on a missed field goal from their kicker. Now, a lot of people are, calling, my comments saying, hey, we got lucky. A little bit to do with, I say the same thing, hey, we might have got lucky because it was a 37-yard field goal that he ended up just shanking. So, hey, it worked out for our advantage. But there was a lot of calls that weren't really called for the Arizona Cardinals. In terms of, there was a couple of interceptions that Kyler Murray threw. There was a pick 6, and then there was a second one that he threw that was supposed to be going to Christian Kirk, and he got hit in the face, and it was supposed to be hands of the face, and they didn't call it. And there was a lot of holding calls and stuff like that. So obviously I'm not going to talk a lot about that, but when it came down to it, we all have these ugly type of wins. It happens every season. We were fortunate to get the win here and be 2-0 and really stay, in pace with the NFC West being 2-0. So I'm stoked, man. I don't care.
Yeah, it's definitely, so many good games from the NFC West. All of them were one-possession games, really tight games. So the LA Rams, what I think that they did really well was continue that passing game, and just it kind of seemed like they were just still getting comfortable there. Matthew Stafford did throw a pick, but it was a tipped pass. Still something you don't want to see, but Cooper Kupp went absolutely off, which was nice to see. So, Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford, that connection's getting real crispy right now, but I would say where the improvement still needs to happen is going to be on both sides of the football as far as the ground game goes. It seems like the Rams are just having a hard time getting the ground game going, and then also stopping the ground game on the other side. That's going to be a problem. Luckily, or I guess not so luckily, the Rams and the Bucs this week. That's kind of where the Bucs are playing really well, especially on the defensive side. I don't know if it's just because they're playing with a lead this entire time, but we'll kind of see how that one goes. But we do have a bunch of really good matchups for this upcoming week. First, though, I do have one ranking here that I want to get into that was given to us. So we have that Kyler Murray is the best, that followed by Russell Wilson, then Matthew Stafford, and Garoppolo. I'm not sure how much longer Garoppolo should even be on this list. I'll be completely honest with you guys. But also, you know what? I'm not even going to be the one that steps in. Steezy, can you address this? Oh, I think you're muted. There you go.
My bad. Sorry, y'all. So if we're just judging through week 2, then I'm not going to disagree. But if we're talking about just who's still the best quarterback in the division, it still has to be Russell Wilson. We all saw Kyler Murray go off in the first half of last year, only to fall off. I understand he was dealing with a shoulder injury, but he was still playing in games, and so we got to judge the performances in which, he put out. And so, Russell Wilson kind of did the same. They both faltered down the stretch, but I had to see Kyler Murray put together a complete season. If he wins MVP, if he becomes an all-pro, if he's able to finally throw for 4,000 passing yards, then, maybe we could, put, serious consideration into, Kyler Murray being a better quarterback than Russell Wilson. But right now I'm going to say yes, he's performing better, just because, he's been putting up crazy numbers. The Cardinals are 2-0, but overall, I can't have Kyler Murray above Russell Wilson. So I guess they have to be more specific in those rankings.
I think that's reasonable. And CG, how you feel about Garoppolo being listed last year?
I disagree, man. Russell Wilson and Garoppolo been to the Super Bowl, bro. But come on, you're gonna disrespect my quarterback when it's all about wins. Stats don't matter. You have to win games. So Kyler Murray, he's really good, and I'm an Oklahoma Sooners fan. I say he's exceptionally good, but I'm not in the Kool-Aid with this guy yet. You know, it's like Stafford, he's good, he's accurate, better than Jared Goff, but he hasn't won a playoff game. So I gotta wait and see what happens. But keep that same energy with my boy Jimmy Garoppolo, man, because he ain't gonna be here next year, but he's gonna audition for another team next year, and Trey Lance will be ready to take over.
So where would you put Jimmy then? Where would you rank him?
I rank him at least third, at least. I mean, come on. Like,
Okay,
I think he's won more games.
He's only played 2 games in the NFC West. I don't know. That's all I got. I can't even.
I know his stats don't say much. His stats don't say a lot, but the wins and losses do matter. You know, I'm just saying when healthy, he's really good. Hey, we're both 2-0.
This next one, and then we'll keep going on to our Week 3 preview here real fast. But the Red Sea has this to say. One thing that all NFC West fans can agree on is that the refs' eyes are just for decoration. These refs couldn't make a right call if you paid them. I don't know if Steezy would necessarily agree with this one. There was a couple calls in that game that I think maybe benefited the NFC West team in that one just a little bit. But, yeah, there was this week, I guess there were some pretty interesting calls going on, and we didn't see any taunting calls in week 1, so I think that the refs were a little bit more adamant about calling that in week 2. I feel like there was maybe a phone call like, hey, guys, we've made this a point of emphasis for a reason. You can't just let everything slide. So does anybody have anything on this one? The refs' eyes are just for decoration?
No, but I do want
okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say that the holding on Nick Bosa, man, they've been letting this slide, bro. It's happened in Super Bowl 54 where he's got held. When are they going to start calling holding on Nick Bosa, bro? He's a disruptive guy. And if you keep on holding this guy, I got a problem with that. It's like, come on. I've seen a lot of these plays against the Lions and the Eagles. They've been grabbing on Nick Bosa a little bit, bro. What's up with that?
And you can get the Bosa holding calls when Donald gets holding calls. What's up, Mike?
Hey, I was just gonna talk about that ranking that we saw there, and I think Steezy hit it like right on the head there in terms of like these stats and what we look like this year. Kyler Murray's playing like lights out right now, so I can definitely see where the Cardinals are in a hype train, but we definitely got to give respect to Russell Wilson and what he's done. But Jimmy Garoppolo, man, you came up at number 4. Don't disrespect Matthew Stafford. Come on now.
Right.
I'll be honest. I think that Jimmy being number 4 is like the least arguable one. it's like the one that's like.
So he's the Mark Bolger of the NFC West again, right? Like you guys had a guy like him and he couldn't stay healthy. Remember how he did?
Yeah, and I wasn't saying he was better than anybody else in this division either, right? Especially even at that time with like Hasselbeck.
Right. Real quick, I just want to say though, CG, bro, if Jimmy G or if Jimmy G is better than Matthew Stafford. Actually, no. Scratch that. If Matthew Stafford was the quarterback for your Niners against the Chiefs, you guys probably would have won that. That's all I got to say. So I just don't think you can properly say that.
If Derek Carr was our quarterback, of course you would see different outcomes with Stafford and Derek Carr. They probably would have completed passes if you had to do it that way. But Jimmy Garoppolo, they should have just ran the ball. Shanahan was too damn cute on those plays. So that's another day to discuss. But, yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo is average, a game manager, which I don't expect him to put up the stats. I don't expect him to put up some monster numbers, at least maybe 200 yards every now and then and maybe 300 yards if he plays a sorry defense. But you're not going to get the stats like Kyler Murray. You're not going to get the stats like Wilson or Stafford. You're just going to get a guy who's going to win games. And I like that about a quarterback. I want a guy who gets the job done. I don't want some statty patties win-loss guy,
Wait, so is Stafford a game manager? Because I'm just trying to argue about your rankings. I'm not talking about anything else.
No, so I mean I'm talking about a guy who's made the playoffs. I'm talking about a guy who's got to the Super Bowl. I'm talking about a guy that doesn't get enough respect. Like, come on, he took us to the Super Bowl not that long ago. Stafford. When he had a team, they didn't win the playoffs, but with the Rams, we got to wait and see how he does. Yeah, I mean, Sean McVay should get him a playoff win.
This is a comment that I've said on my show quite a bit, and it goes off of a quote that I heard a long time ago. There was, if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will spend its entire life believing it's an idiot. If you judge an NFL quarterback by his ability to win playoff games for the Detroit Lions, everybody in the world will believe that he sucks. We got it. Like, it's not a fair like comparison to say that Matthew Stafford hasn't won a playoff game or anything like that. He's been playing with the Lions, man. Like, and look at him now. He's 2-0 with the Rams. Our offense is way better than it was last year, the last couple years, honestly. You could say 2018 was the better one, but it's an improvement already. We could feel it.
Todd Gurley was there though, so
yeah.
No, I was just saying you guys look so much more explosive. Yeah, a healthy Todd Gurley.
Yeah.
Well, cartilage in his knees still, but
yeah, his knees didn't peace out yet. So let's go. All right, let's go hop into week 3. I'll be honest, guys, I'm already a little bit sad that we're already in week 3. I feel like it's going way too fast. Like, I feel like we just were talking about the season coming up, and now we're already a couple games in, going into week 3. You see the games there at the bottom of the screen. You got Cardinals and Jaguars on Fox, Bucks at Rams on Fox as well. Seahawks and Vikings at Fox. That's actually, those 2 games are competing for TV time. So I'm sure when the distribution map comes out tomorrow, you'll see a big chunk for Rams Bucks just because it's Tom Brady. Of course, that helps a lot. And then, you got the Seahawks and the Vikings. They'll get their little pockets in there for sure. And then we got Sunday Night Football, Green Bay Packers, who turned it around big time in week 2 over from their performance from week 1, which was honestly really rough. That was not some good stuff. So the first game of the weekend, though, that will happen will be that Cardinals at Jaguars game. What are we looking for in this one, man?
Yo, awesome. Cool. So, yeah, let's talk some Cardinals, Jaguars. Honestly, it's nothing flashy, nothing crazy. I mean, on paper, you would think that the Cardinals would smoke them out of the water, but we've kind of seen a struggling Cardinal team, not just this team, but just like the franchise in general, always play to the level of, a team that they should be beating. Last year it happened again with a 2-0 hot start, and comes the Lions, which I get. The Lions were a different breed than the Jaguars, but still kind of same concept where, these are the teams that you should be beating, and we kind of don't come in and play the physicality that we need to. So one thing that I really want to see here is I want to make sure that when we start fast, we keep our foot on the gas pedal. We have a perfect road to be 3-0. We got Trevor Lawrence, which no disrespect to him at all, but he's rookie. We also got Urban Meyer, a rookie head coach as well. And I think it's a perfect time for Chandler Jones to wreak havoc on that offensive line, as well as J.J. Watt. And honestly, last week against the Vikings, a lot of people are talking about, we got lucky, but they're not talking about the wide receiver production that we've been doing and DeAndre Hopkins not being targeted after the second or the second half or something like that, because we had an AJ Green, we had Rondale Moore, Christian Kirk got involved with a few different catches, and Max Williams, our tight end, got involved. So to see this type of Cliff Kingsbury's, which I hope it's consistent. Like I said, I'm not going to sit on a soapbox and say, here we go, this is what we wanted to see, but I liked what I've seen offensively, not defensively, offensively in this last game. I hope it translates into the Jaguars game.
Perfect. Let's go with score predictions too. Let's drop those in.
All right. My score prediction, 35-17 Cardinals.
All right. Steezy, give me the score prediction for that Cardinals game.
Man, well, I do have a few shares of the Cardinals defense in some of my fantasy leagues, and so I'm hoping that Chandler Jones, and them are racking up the sacks. I say that you guys blow them out by at least 3 scores. I'm going to go ahead and say 35-14.
Nice.
All right. CG, what about you? What do you got them Cardinals winning by, apparently?
All right. Since they got Jacksonville, it's going to be just like a cakewalk for them because Jacksonville's a rebuilding team. So I got the Cardinals winning 35-20. I think Jacksonville's going to get garbage numbers off of that. Yeah. So, like I said, I'm not buying into the Kool-Aid just yet. They need to prove themselves. So when I drink that Kool-Aid, it tastes like sour. So I'm just saying.
I think it'll be I'm going with the Cardinals win, but I don't think it's going to be this dramatic win. I'm going to go ahead and say 20-14.
Oh,
we'll go with that. I don't think it's going to be an explosion or anything. I think it'll be a tight game. Those Jaguars can kind of give people some trouble here. So we'll see what they can do to the Cardinals. Let's go ahead and go to we'll go to the next game here. We'll go with CG last. Okay, so you hang on because you got the night game. All right, we'll go over to Steezy, them Seattle Seahawks. What do you got?
Yeah, so week 3, traveling to Minnesota, as you guys might know, Seattle has Minnesota's number. I think they're 7-0 in the last, I don't know how many years, but obviously in the last 7 matchups, it's been in Seattle's favor. I don't see that changing. I know Minnesota played Arizona close, but coming off a very gut-wrenching loss. I don't see Seattle losing this one. Seattle can't lose this one. They can't fall behind. I mean, you're already behind the 8 ball now. Last place in the NFC West, the only team in the NFC West with the loss. Seattle's going to be highly motivated. And Seattle displayed some very uncharacteristic traits in the second half of the last game. Usually Seattle, once they have their foot on the gas, they usually tend to keep it on the gas. You know, Seattle's one of those teams that really doesn't let up once they have the lead. And so that was very uncharacteristic. And Seattle ran the ball 4 times in third quarter, fourth quarter, all overtime, 4 times. Look for Seattle to pound the football, to pound the rock. There's going to be more balance, I think. It's not going to be so heavily tilted towards the pass game. It's going to be a close game. Minnesota's going to put up points. They have an offense that is loaded with playmakers. Osborne is now another target. He had 90-plus yards and a touchdown. Dalvin Cook is going to cause some fits for the Seattle run defense as well. I mean, Derrick Henry had 147 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns in the second half alone. And now, granted, Seattle was missing a couple of pieces on the defensive line. I think our best run stuff for Brian Monet, he didn't play. And so hopefully with him back in the lineup, we'll see. But hopefully he can kind of put a dent in Minnesota's game plan to revolve their, offense around Dalvin Cook. I think Seattle runs away with the victory here. I'm not going to say they're going to blow him out, but I'd say Seattle comes out on top 31-21.
All right, CG, what's your score prediction for that Seahawks game?
Man, so if the Minnesota Vikings have a good running game, right? Dalvin Cook, just like Tennessee had Derrick Henry, I smell another overtime game. Man, dude, I like to go with Seattle, but I smell upset again. So I see the Minnesota Vikings somehow winning 31-34. Sorry, bro. I just don't. It seems to me when you guys play against elite running backs and a really good receiving core like Minnesota, don't be fooled by the way they started. They might play good against Seattle's defense. So I just think it's more of those trap games. So I'm going to go with the Vikings by 3 points, man.
Definitely a trap game. Definitely a trap game. But, I mean, we did play an elite running back in Jonathan Taylor, and he had more receiving yards than rushing yards. But carry on.
True. And AZ, what do you got for the score?
Oh, man. So firsthand, I've seen the Vikings, man. They're a tough team. Let me tell you that. I think one of the things that the Arizona Cardinals did and why we kept this so close, I still think they're a great team, but I do think that we kind of laxed in the very first half. I think we adjusted to Dalvin Cook in that game, but it probably shouldn't been that 1 point difference. I think the Cardinals still would have came out with the win, but they're a good team, man, left and right. So I know that they're a team that's going to be fighting for a spot here because the NFC North, man, they're all kind of, lingering around. I think the best person is 1-1. So they're going to be fighting tooth and nail for this game. But man, every time I go against Russell Wilson, I get slapped in the face. So I'm going to go Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks winning. And I'm going to say 34-31 Seahawks.
All right. Yeah, I think it's going to be actually a pretty close game as well. Based on week 2, that was a hard fought game, but it just seemed like Seattle just left something out there, so I think that they will get this one. I think that they'll pull away with this win. And I know that the Vikings are a tough team, but I'm just not completely sold that they're that much above average. You know what I mean? Like they feel very 9-8 to me. So I think that this will be a Seahawks win. I think it'll be pretty tight, and I think it'll be a little bit messy in a sense. So I'm going to go with 26-23 for my score, and I'm going to give that one to the Seahawks in regulation. I don't think it'll be another overtime game, but once overtime hits, man, it is anybody's game. So
yeah.
Let's move on to the LA Rams hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is such an awesome matchup for week 3. Both teams coming in 2-0. The Bucs have looked pretty dang good so far in these first 2 weeks, guys, but the Rams are also sitting at 2-0. I like what the Rams might be able to bring to this game as far as our defense. We haven't really shown a lot on defense. We've actually not even shown that much on offense. I think that there's a lot of things still to be released to the Matthew Stafford of this offense. So I'm really excited to see what that can be. This is definitely going to be the toughest test for the Rams secondary, probably all year, maybe outside of the Arizona Cardinals, who have just a bunch of weapons as well. But these Bucs, man, they got weapons for days. It's going to be a tough test for that Rams defense and that secondary. But you know what? Maybe we'll see Aaron Donald throwing Tom Brady to the ground a couple times. Maybe Ramsey can get his 3rd interception as a Ram. He got one last week. So you know what? I do feel good about this one, guys. It's in LA. The Rams beat the Bucs 27-24 last year in Tampa Bay. Of course, that was really before the Bucs hit their stride, so that does have to be taken into consideration. But I also think that the Rams are a better team this year than they were last year. So I am going to give my Rams this win. I think it's going to be another very tough game, though, but I'm seeing points, guys. I'm seeing points in this one. I'm going to go a little bit bigger on this one. I think I'm going to go 41-35 with a Rams win. So we'll start with CG.
Okay, all right. So the Buccaneers versus the Rams. It's going to be at the LA Coliseum. The Rams Stadium. So I personally think that the Rams are going to match up well on defense. Defensively, they're going to match up really well against Tom Brady. But the problem is, Brady's favorite. He just seems to always has a good bounce back type of game. But even though they did win all their games, I still think I have the Rams winning by 3 points. Unfortunately, the score is going to be 31-28. The Rams are going to win by a field goal. Nail biter. So I got the Rams winning.
Yeah, let's see if we can get Matt Gay to hit that game winner at the end there. That'd be pretty awesome. Huh? Let's go over to Steezy.
Man, yeah, like I said earlier, this should be Sunday Night Football. If it's not Seahawks and Buccaneers, it's probably going to be Rams and Buccaneers, in a preview of the NFC title game. Just want to put that on the record now. Yeah, I see a shootout. This is going to be, this is going to be a real test. I think that this game we're going to find out whether or not the Rams – I guess we kind of know that they're legitimate Super Bowl contenders. We know that they're an NFC powerhouse, but this game is really going to prove a lot of things for us. Yeah, I think it's going to be real close. It's going to be super entertaining. But ultimately, I think Tampa Bay comes out on top. I think Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, they know who they're going up against. They know that they're on the road, but we all thought Philly dismantled Atlanta in week 1 to the tune of 32-6, but Tampa Bay almost dropped the 50 burger, 48 points against that putrid Falcons defense. And I know that, the Rams defense is nothing to scoff at, but I just feel like Tampa Bay, they have the weapons to neutralize that Rams secondary. You have an Antonio Brown, a Chris Godwin, a Mike Evans. Gronkowski looks like he's playing like he's in his prime. You're negating LA's biggest strength on defense, with all that talented receiver. And then, yes, you guys have a great pass rush led by Aaron Donald, the best player in football, but Tom Brady has a top 5 offensive line in the National Football League, and with the way that he's so quick and getting rid of the football, I just don't know if the pressure is going to be there. And so what you guys can capitalize on is that secondary, because Tampa Bay's secondary has looked awful. You guys are absolutely going to tear through that like you guys did last year with Jared Goff. Sean Murphy Bunting, he's on IR. Tampa Bay even reached out to Richard Sherman, and so who knows, Richard Sherman might sign soon. We'll see. I think Seattle's up there, San Fran, Tampa Bay, but it's going to be a real close game. I'm going to have to say Tampa Bay wins in a shootout 41-40.
Ooh. If that's the final score, it'll at least be extremely entertaining, so I'll take that one. AZ?
Yeah, it's going to be a shootout, man. Put your fantasy football people in this game because it's going to be crazy this game. Almost kind of like that Cowboys-Buccaneers game in the very first week to kind of hype up the whole NFL season to come through. But, man, when I look at these two teams, I see powerhouses. I really do. The Rams are ready to go. Tampa Bay has obviously Tom Brady, the GOAT, which I hate to say, but he is. And right now, if I'm going to have to pick, I'm going to have to go Tampa Bay. I'm going to have to say it's a shootout. I would say 41-38 Tampa Bay. It's just because the wide receiving core and everything they have there is just nasty, man. And I like Bruce Arians.
All right. So
former Cardinals guy.
That's right.
Biscuit,
no biscuit.
He hurt my feelings when he was with the Cardinals. So he was a little passive on the Rams, and it kind of hurt my feelings a little bit. But guys, before we wrap up here, I'm gonna just give a quick little shout out to everybody that's watching this. We actually have 2 NFC West matchups next week. So if you guys have maybe an idea for a bet or something we could do, it's Rams, Cardinals, it's 49ers, Seahawks. We need something.
We're going to debate the Niners and Packers?
Go ahead and drop them. What was that, CG?
You forgot to debate about the Niners and Packers matchup.
Oh, I did. I totally did. Well, that's my fault. I guess they're so irrelevant in my brain. I'm just kidding.
Shots fired.
We'll bring this one back up, but after we get into this game, that is on me, man. That is my bad. So go ahead and start. We got Niners and Packers on Sunday Night Football. What do you got, CG?
Well, I'm going to go with my team, of course. It's going to be a home opener. Despite a little wounded, we're still going to play a better game against Green Bay. Green Bay might have a wake-up call against Detroit Lions, but they're playing a far better team this time around. And it's not going to be the injured team from last year. It's going to be the team that's from 2019 form that will beat the brakes out of them. So I expect this game to be a lot closer than the previous time. So I got the 49ers winning 34-21. I think it's going to come down to the running game, and it's going to come down to Jimmy G proving the doubters wrong.
Who is your running game? What is in that water, man? Everybody gets hurt. Who is
Elijah Mitchell? Elijah Mitchell's okay. We got a running back off the street. We make any running back look good. It's running back university. Doesn't matter who we pick up. Next man up, they're going to run people over. Dude, Shanahan knows how to get the best out of our system.
So he's got some support over here. I'll go ahead and take next. I think that the 49ers, the way that they kind of let up against the Lions, I said everybody was overreacting to that one. I was saying that that the 49ers kind of backed off, and a Dan Campbell team is not just going to roll over and let that happen. So they came back, scored those 16 late, ended up being just an 8-point game. But after seeing them against the Eagles, who I am not sold on, I do not think that they're a good football team. And they struggled. So, you got the Packers coming off their week 1 where they just looked like they had no idea what the hell was going on out there against the Saints. And then they come in week 2, and they started a little slow and then really just exploded. For that reason, I'm going to go with the Packers here, and I don't know if it's that close. I think it'll be – I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to go 14-30 Packers on this one. I think it's going to be a pretty good Packers day. We'll go to the AZ Sportsman.
So I guess I'm up here. So the running back situation, I don't know what's happening. I know Elijah Mitchell, I heard that he was hurt recently. So if he's cool. But going to this game, I think the Packers will come up with the win as well. I do think it's going to be close, though. I think we might see some Trey Lance, some frustration with Jimmy G. Maybe he might be coming in for more reps than the Jimmy G wants him to. So I do think the Packers do get the win here. I say 17-14. So, 24-17 Green Bay.
All right, Steezy.
Yeah. I don't know. For whatever reason, Aaron Rodgers seems to struggle in 2 states, California and Florida. And this game will be taking place in Santa Clara. So, like CG said, it is San Fran's home opener, but they're not going to start off with a bang. I think it's going to end up in the same fashion that, Seattle lost their home opener. I don't think that, San Fran's going to choke, blah, blah, nothing like that. But I just think that, it's their home opener, but I think San Fran's going to lose this one. Green Bay, they look like they're motivated. They look like they want to play football again. Aaron Rodgers, 4 touchdowns last week. I think he had more touchdowns than he did incompletions, or at least the 2 numbers were close. And so, with that ravaged secondary of San Fran's, injuries all over the place in that secondary. And so Aaron Rodgers is going to pick them apart. Devontae Adams is probably going to have maybe I could see him having 200 yards receiving here. I know Green Bay's defense has struggled, but that's kind of negated by the fact that all of San Fran's running backs are injured. I know Elijah Mitchell injured his shoulder. He did come back into the game, so he should be good to go. But JaMychal Hasty, concussion. No. That's Trey Sermon with a concussion. JaMychal Hasty, high ankle sprain. He's probably going to be out for the next month or so. And so I know you guys brought on Kerryon Johnson. Trenton Cannon's on the roster, but I don't know. I don't trust all those injuries that are happening right now in San Fran. And I think for the first time in a long time, Aaron Rodgers finally gets a dub in California. I say Green Bay comes out on top, 29 to San Fran's 24.
All right. So you definitely not everybody super high on the 49ers going into week 3, even though the Seahawks were the one that dropped the ball on stacking dubs for the whole division over here. So we do get one suggestion here from Peo. What's up, Peo? Welcome in, by the way. Losers next week have to do a video to the winner's reaction video of the win.
The winner's reaction video.
You know what? That is not bad. It does seem a little production heavy, but I do like it. By the way,
I'm with it.
If you guys haven't seen it yet, the AZ sports fan had his reaction to the Vikings missing the field goal, and it was one of the most pure things I've ever seen in my life.
And it sucks
really
because like, when
enjoyed
you're
it.
looking back at it, it's like it's just quiet. But like copyright with NFL and stuff like that. I've been copyrighted
Yeah.
before, so I'm like, it almost just looks like I'm just like a crazy person, like
Yeah,
But,
it's just silent, and then you just lose your mind. You missed it. And
yeah, dude, I'm honestly
really
super
like
excited. If it's okay with you, I would love to hear what CG like to kind of rebuttal against all this hatred from the 49ers. If that's okay with you, CG, man, defend your team, man.
Well, here's this. Keep that same energy when we beat the Green Bay Packers. I want all that doubt to be silenced, man. I like that you guys picked against my team, but I want that reaction of saying, "Ooh, I'm sorry, CG, I was wrong." I want to hear that. But if I happen to be the other way around, I'll take accountability for it. But in all seriously, that's fine. Pick the Packers because we're gonna make you guys pay.
Ooh.
Hey, I like it, man. We got another one here, another example. Loser has to make a 7-minute video breakdown showing why the winning team is superior.
Oh, that's rough, bro. That's rough.
That is rough,
Wow.
man.
Fair enough. We could do a 7-minute of the breakdown of why they're the better team. I mean, make it better for all the audience to watch us,
It sounds like CG's thinking that the Seahawks are going to win next week. He's pretty confident that he'll be able to knock out 7 minutes of why the Seahawks are better. And I'm sure,
Shouldn't be too hard.
I'm sure that you can definitely knock out 7 minutes of why the Rams are superior to the Cardinals. I don't see why that would be a problem.
Well, let me tell you one thing, man. Honestly, the Cardinal fans right now, 8-0. Sean McVay is last 4 years. You guys just beating us, man. We were the baby brother. I think this is the time, man. I think we're gonna turn over a new leaf. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
This might be the one here. We might go ahead and have to do this one. And we don't. It's not the only week where we'll have division games. So that we can maybe we'll get something going for the entire season. Maybe we can do something regular. So we'll talk about it. We got our little private conversations that we'll start.
There's one here from Jordan P. Says the loser has to wear the shirt of the other team in the next round table. Oh, that would hurt.
Oh.
I would have to go get
I would
one.
have to buy
I don't
one.
know.
I'd have to be, yeah.
I don't know how to buy that.
I mean, I wouldn't, but you guys would have to go get Ram shirts.
Damn. So that depends on the outcome. So that depends on the Packers game. So that means I have to borrow like a damn Packers uniform. Hell no, I can't wear that.
Go to your local pawn shop.
We'll go ahead and leave it on this one. Shout out to the panel for trashing the 49ers this week. Got some good stuff. I'll be honest with you guys. The reason that I'm feeling that way is I don't think the Eagles are very good, and the 49ers struggled with them. I don't think that Garoppolo is the guy. I think that once Lance starts, I think that team is going to be. I think it's going to be a better team. That's really why I'm picking. I'm pulling back on the 49ers. So I was defending them last week. Not so much this week after a 6-point dub over the Eagles and Nick Sirianni. Come on, guys. But that is going to do it for us. Thank you guys so much for hanging out and chilling with us. Do appreciate you guys. We got the AZ Sports Fan. We got Steezy A. Smith. We got CG Ruthless Sports, and I am Tara Chobags of Ram Showcase. Make sure you guys subscribe to all of the channels. You can find them. They're very easy to find. We'll be I'm not sure where we'll be next week. Keep an eye on the community tabs for the next Tuesday's NFC West Roundtable. But until then, guys, thank you guys for hanging out. Go Rams.
Go Hawks.